Happy Saturday, Risers. We hope you're having an amazing weekend. Sagar and I are back with some of our favorite moments from the week. This week, we've reported a whole lot about the wave of progressive energy building in primaries across the country. And out in Colorado, allies of the state's former governor, John Hickenlooper, are dropping millions of dollars into ads attacking his progressive challenger. That would be Andrew Romanoff, whose campaign has been starting to close the gap on Hickenlooper in recent polls. This week, Romanoff gave us an update on his campaign.
I'm comfortable standing up to my own party because I think they're wrong on these issues. They are subsidized by the fossil fuel industry. They oppose the Green New Deal. They oppose Medicare for all. I'm talking about the leadership of the Democratic Party in Washington, not the majority of the public. And I guess that's the most important thing to me. You've seen surveys that the vast majority of the American people support universal single-payer health care, bold climate action, the agenda we're running on. The truth is, John Hickenlooper sued communities that tried to restrict fracking, literally drank the fracking fluid, not just a metaphor, just a bad idea. He opposes the Green New Deal. He takes money, just like Cory Gardner, from the fossil fuel industry. And it strikes me, if you want to replace Cory Gardner, the best way to do that is to nominate a climate champion.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see it from Andrew Romanoff because so many problems that have emerged from Hickenlooper. And he really has kind of had a remarkable ups and downs in his campaign. Kind of was like, it didn't look like he had a shot. And then he won that, however they do their nomination there, the convention or whatever. And he seems to be making some inroads. So it'll be interesting to watch how he does.
Yeah, I mean, the polls have definitely tightened. I think this is still a pretty big long shot at this point. But we've seen the way that polls have shifted dramatically in other races. Also, Hickenlooper, as you alluded to, has made some major stumbles. Some old comments emerged, some new comments. He has an ethics scandal. Weirdly, though, Elizabeth Warren backed Hickenlooper, endorsed Hickenlooper. I'm sure Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden. Yeah, made her do that. Of course, she's her own person. She could say no. But that's the dynamics of that race that's coming here very shortly, so something we're keeping an eye on.
All right. Well, then the presumptive nominee for the Green Party, Howie Hawkins, he's been endorsed by the Socialist Party of America, and he campaigns for initiatives like a $20 minimum wage, Medicare for all, and a Green New Deal. This week, Howie explained how giving people an option to vote for a candidate that represents their values actually gives them leverage moving forward.
This is an opportunity for people to vote for what they want, and we may not win the presidency, but a big vote can give us leverage going forward. I got 5% running for governor in 2010. Andrew Cuomo wanted to run up the vote to get ready to run for president, get more than his daddy got. Mario Cuomo, get more than he got when he was first elected in 2010. We got 5%. He couldn't take us for granted. And then he adopted three things that he had never supported before after that election: a ban on fracking in New York, a $15 minimum wage, and paid family leave. So if you vote for what you want to make the politicians come for you, they can't take you for granted, and you've got some power.
You know,
interesting guy.
I really kind of love that guy. I mean, he did a really good job in the interview. I think he makes the case there extremely well. And one of the things that impressed me is he was realistic. He wasn't out there like, no, we're really going to win. He was like, look, Joe Biden's going to win anyway. Why don't you vote for what you actually want? Why don't you make a statement so the party knows they can't just take you for granted? So I really enjoyed speaking with him.
Yeah, he was a really interesting guy to talk to.
All right, the Supreme Court has dealt some devastating blows to conservatives recently regarding LGBTQ rights and DACA. The Conservative Partnership Institute's Senior Director of Policy, Rachel Bovard, expressed the concerns the right has right now with the Supreme Court and the way that they are backing public opinion. Let's take a listen.
In deliberation, and they may lose, right? And that's a very natural outcome in the legislative branch, but it's incumbent upon them to force these questions to the floor, to force the deliberation, the debate, the voting that creates a record. And that's why we send people to Congress to deal with these questions. We don't send people to the courts, right? We don't elect people to the courts. They're appointed there for life to be sort of these black-robed masters. We don't kneel at their feet. We actually send people to the legislature to debate these questions. And I think on the issue, of LGBTQ equality that came up before the court, and same with DACA, the merits of those issues aside, there's a lot of ripple effects that those decisions have that our legislator really needs to be dealing with, particularly on the Bostock case. This is going to ripple into religious liberty in ways I don't think the American right fully understands yet. Justice Alito sort of listed some of these questions in his dissent, but you're dealing with a sea change, really, for how people of faith, and not just conservative people of faith, but how people of faith live in this country. And the legislature, to a great extent, responded by just shrugging.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Rachel put it the best way, which is that, look, at the end of the day, you can't rely on the courts. And this is what you were talking about in terms of the leftist argument of like, you got to vote for Biden for the courts, which is that if the courts are bought and paid for, just like every other part of our democracy, which is what's happening right now, as we see on the right, then the courts aren't going to save you. Maybe the only thing is to rethink how we, approach the democratic process, which is who we elect to actually represent our interests.
Yeah,
that has to be it.
You can't give up, and that's essentially what that direction on the right and on the left is, frankly, it's basically like giving up on the legislative process.
It is. You're like, oh, screw it.
This thing's not working, so we're going to try over here. And by the way, the court historically hasn't been some harbinger of great equality. They haven't they don't lead public opinion much, if at all, ever. So if you are banking, especially a progressive movement, frankly, on like the courts are going to help us secure dramatic change, it's not going to work out.
Forget it.
That does it for us. We'll be back later today with the week that was in media screw-ups.
All right, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. And also, don't forget to like and share as well. Tomorrow, we're going to be back for another round of #RisingQs. We'll see you guys then.